All right, we are going to talk about the weapons you have to fight with. There are battles and challenges that you face all the time, and I want to show you some weapons you have to fight with. I just talked about that the battle plan is never the same in the scripture. So why would we approach the challenges, the difficulties, the questions, the strategies, the marketing, the financial planning, just like everybody else does the same thing. Here's your books on the shelf, and this is the strategy you're supposed to do. If you want to grow a business, this is what you do. There are great principles. Don't get me wrong. There are great principles and truths in those books. But I'm telling you, there's an invitation today to actually approach things in a totally different manner. So I want to give you some weapons to fight with that will actually help you gain victory in the midst of the battles. Number one is worship. Worship is one of those key foundational things that will absolutely destroy the works of the enemy. It says in Isaiah that as you worship, Isaiah chapter 42, when you worship God, it says this, that the Lord will rise up like a mighty warrior, and he'll go and he'll bring triumph, he'll bring victory over your enemies. Worship opens the door and access to the presence of God, but it also it begins to, you partner with God to allow him to begin to work on your behalf. So worship is a key cool weapon that you have. Number two is communion. Communion is actually not just something you take at church, but is actually an important tool for you to do in your workplace, in your board meetings, with your coworkers. It's remembering what God has done, what Jesus did at the cross, because we have to understand that when Jesus died on the cross, he accomplished it all. He paid for it all. And when we take communion, we're actually declaring what he did. We're remembering what he did, and we're declaring that he's the same yesterday, today, and forever. That what the power that he accomplished at the cross is available for us today. The freedom, the provision, the restoration, the redemption, the healing, the provision. It's all there for us today. So communion is a huge weapon to fight with. The third one is our testimonies. Testimonies are one of the most hidden weapons that most people don't tap into, but is one of the most crucial weapons. It says that in Psalms that the Israelites forgot the works of God and it caused them to sin. When we remember the testimonies of God, it not only builds hope and faith inside of us, but it does a couple other things. Number one, in Revelations, it says that the testimony of Jesus is the spirit of prophecy. It's a prophetic declaration of what he has done and what he's going to do again. When we remember the testimonies of God, we're actually speaking them out. We're declaring that he's the same yesterday, today, and forever. Testimonies not only are a prophetic declaration, but they help us recall the goodness of God and who he is and what he said he'll do. It builds hope and faith and encouragement inside of us. I challenge you to rehearse the testimonies, excuse me, not only things that you've experienced, but go back. David went through the history of the Israelites remembering the works of God. As you remember the works of God, you are declaring that he is still true to his word and he'll do it again.